says to have the leg you're not testing out like this. In the videos that we have, we show it resting like on a stool. So you're getting somebody kind of comfortable. You know, I think that's not, the only one that probably has long enough legs or I can rest on a stool is me. So we'll just do it this way. Okay. So, nice belt. Okay, so now what I'm going to feel for are the bony prominences and the ASIS. And in Jamie, they're really prominent. Okay, so I can really feel that. If you have trouble finding ASIS, go to the iliac crest and then come a little medial or anterior and work your way down. But they should stick out a lot of times when someone is lying down. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to place the axis right here on the ASIS, and I am going to have the stationary arm coming across directly on the opposite ASIS. That's how I'm going to measure, okay? And I am going to make sure the movable arm is right in the middle part of the femur, okay? So right here. So I'm starting at my 0. Now I'm going to ask Jamie to bring her leg out towards me. Okay. And I want to make sure, this is what I see all the time with students. This thing then gets switched up a little, so make sure that still stays even. Adjust it if you have to. And now I am at, if you could support, that would be great. 0, that's, I'm reading the red letters now because they look, what is she at, 30, 32, something like that. Then we go into a little bit of passive range, and maybe we could get her to 40, just about, and 45 is average, okay? So she might be a little tight here. What could be tight? Let's do, I should have done passive range of motion first and active, so let's have her just come out like this. Can you bring your leg out as much as you can? Good. And back again. Now I'm going to do some passive range. And what do you think might be tight and limiting Jamie from coming out all the way?
The adductors?
Adductors could be tight, absolutely. Also, there could be ligament tightness, and it could be the pubofemoral ligament, and that makes sense. Okay, so that's pretty firm. All right, that's 45 degrees. Now, let's go to hip adduction, okay? Your book has an error, not the first, right? Okay? They say just watch the pelvic movement. Let's try, Jamie, come out all the way. Let's see what you might do.
External rotation.
Yeah. And she's lifting the opposite hip or the pelvis up off the mat, okay? And a little bit of rotation there. So you want, I would say you really want to make sure the pelvis is on the mat and level, okay? All right. So now your book says to start out in abduction with the test leg. You don't. You start out in neutral. And they show it in neutral in the picture. They just wrote it wrong. You start the non-test leg out in abduction. And the reason you do the non-test leg out in abduction is why? Because you got to make room to adduct over here. Okay? All right. So again, same placement. All right? We're going to get let me do my passive first, and the active. Okay, Jamie, what I want you to do, I'm going to give her some support and have her actively move. Jamie, I want you to bring your leg in towards your other leg. Adduction. Good. Now really force that movement, and let's see what you might end up doing as a substitution. Okay. Again, she's rotating at the pelvis, lifting it up off the mat. So do your substitutions when you're practicing, so that they make sense and you remember. All right? Okay. Now I'm going to do some passive range here. And you know what I feel, especially if I got over in this direction? What I'm feeling as wow, there can be a lot of tightness in this iliotibial band, okay, that might be preventing some abduction there. Okay. Seems like a runner and does a lot of exercise here, so that might be tight, okay? All right. So, let's get the ASIS, which we love and we know how to locate. And everything is nice and big when we're doing the lower extremity. Okay. We're going to start out on 0. And then, Jamie, I'm just going to ask you to move your leg in towards the other leg till you need it. Make sure you keep this lined up, middle of the femur. It looks like about 25. Michael, would you like to grab this leg and do a little more passive? And we could probably get to about 35, and that's it. Then I start to see some rotation of the pelvis. Normal is 0 to 45. So as you realize, we're not getting completely normal, and yet we're all somewhat normal.
You think maybe because our hips are a little like that? Yeah. It wasn't.
Yeah. I don't know.
This is 30 to 0.
Yeah, it says 30 to 0.
Oh, does it say 30? Okay, it's not 45? Okay.
Well,
So you're normal. You're normal. All right. Thank you. So we're okay. She's normal. All right. Let's try it on each other.